A warm welcome from my side as well to webinar number 4 for Integrated Service Parts Planning with SAP S/4HANA eSPP. And I'm really happy today having again Guada Joseph from SAP as a company in that webinar. And she will take you through the first part of the presentation of the webinar, and then myself will continue with the second part and the demo. And Günther is supporting me on the SAP Analytics Cloud questions and if the demo and on the demo presentations. And the first agenda topic, as we had in the 3 webinars before, as well as a little introduction, we're already doing that right now. And then we are having a summary of the webinars 1, 2, and 3 that you can follow up what we are doing today. And the main part of the webinar today is how to use SAP Analytics Cloud together with eSPP. How can we integrate those modules? And then we will have the last 5 minutes as a little question and answer section, and maybe a future outlook where you can bring in your ideas as well. And we might have some more webinars later on, but that for at the moment is the last one that we planned on the eSPP side. So, and Guada, I hand over to you to tell what we did so far in the first 3 sessions.
Okay, great. Hi, everyone. Thank you, Frank. Thank you so much. Thank you all for being with us today. I am Guada Joseph, the Solution Manager for Aftermarket, covering SAP North and South America regions. And as Frank mentioned earlier, I'm going to summarize the first 3 webinars we delivered. So during the first one, you heard about the financial benefits of an effective after-sales business, which contributes to the profit margin and business growth for manufacturers, OEMs. And the best way to build an effective after-sales business is to make sure that you have the right parts in the right place at the right time. This will then improve customer satisfaction, intensifies customer loyalty, and increase repurchasing power. And the goal is to lower inventory holding costs while improving your customer service level. This then brought us to the new SAP S/4HANA Extended Service Parts Planning Solution, short for eSPP. Next slide, please, Frank.
Yeah.
Okay. So as many of you probably know, SAP has invested considerable amount of money and resources for the last 20 plus years in building the new end-to-end service part management solution in S/4HANA. The simplified one-box architecture combines planning and execution onto one central platform, with service parts planning, order fulfillment, advanced available to promise, and procurement tightly integrated. Being in S/4HANA, the solution leverages the latest and greatest built-in intelligent technologies. It eliminates data inconsistencies. No longer do we have to have master data in multiple platforms, whether CRM, BW, APO, and it provides faster operations. The network-based planning solution provides transparency across the entire supply chain. It manages complex and high-volume processes, as well as complex parts supersessions. During the first webinar, Frank went into detail about the various capabilities, such as capture and manage demand. If you look all the way to your left, capture and manage demand, which uses sales orders and stock transporter data within S/4HANA to build the forecast. No more BW. It aggregates the demand along the network. It automatically realigns historical data based on changes in business policy or events, such as supersession, changes to your network structure, stacking, destacking, and so forth. Then we move on to forecasting. You can increase your forecast accuracy with our advanced forecast model and automatic forecast selection of forecast model, right? And then for inventory planning, the main goal is to make sure that we reduce inventory investment while maximizing customer service level. It calculates required safety stock level for each material in each location to meet the target service level. Distribution requirements planning determine the demand for all locations within the network, when and aggregates them along the bill of distribution to the entry location. It then creates and sends out scheduling agreement, purchase requisition, and so forth to your suppliers. Our deployment solution determines how to distribute the goods within the network. It determines the demand quantities to be distributed within the network based on fair share rules and demand priorities. So inventory balancing, which is not a mandatory capability to implement, an optional one, balances excess inventory and shortages at individual location. It can be scheduled as a periodical service or automatically triggered by events. Today, I am going to provide you some other set of business benefit, other than like the transparency on the stock requirements that we discussed. We also have other benefits such as help aftermarket customers achieve high customer service level with reducing the inventory holding costs. We have increased forecast accuracy with our advanced forecast models and automatic forecast model selections. And it also calculates distribution quantities within the entire network, like we mentioned earlier, based on demand priorities and fair share allocation. Next slide, please.
Yep.
So during webinar 3, right, you learn about eSPP integration with IBPI, to provide inventory optimization along the entire network and not just location by location. eSPP incorporates like a heuristic-based type of approach for inventory planning, but currently it does not have a true multi-echelon inventory optimization, which is why we provide an integrated solution with IBPI. It offers advanced capabilities for simulation, what-if analysis, and result comparison for safety stock calculation across the entire network. Customers then have a choice of either implementing a simple inventory planning, with eSPP, or advanced inventory planning via our integrated business planning for inventory. And today you are going to learn about my favorite topic, eSPP integration with SAP Analytics Cloud. Now I will turn it over to Frank.
Thanks a lot, Guada. That gave us a very good overview about what we did so far. And the last bit that is still missing is the in the webinar series is the linkage of the SAP Analytics Cloud to eSPP. And that will cover the main part of today's webinar. We will see, or we will get a little introduction to SAP Analytics Cloud itself to understand what that is. We will learn and see how it can be integrated to eSPP, and the third part is covering a demo where we really go into SAP Analytics Cloud and see what's delivered by SAP and what you can do with it, so that then comes up to a real demo that we will see in a couple of minutes. SAP Analytics Cloud, in general, it is not only a reporting and visualization tool. It's the strategic tool from SAP to control and steer all your processes. Especially for eSPP, it covers a little bit the weakness of the old SPP world, and that is the reporting part. But it can do much more than only analytics and visualization. And the full potential of the SAP Analytics Cloud can be developed if you connect a lot of different SAP modules to that platform. It's very easy integration, and you can have predefined stories, and you can get a very good overview about all the different topics, what's going on in your company. SAP Analytics Cloud is based on 4 main key functions. That is, as I said before, the analytics and visualization part. It covers a really handy dashboarding tool, and it has predictions and planning inside as well. But mentioned earlier, we will focus on this one. I just dropped some words about the other 3 functions. So the digital boardroom is inside of the SAP Analytics Cloud, where you can really easily create very complex and sophisticated dashboards with that tool. You can combine different stories in a really management dashboarding style. And then we have analytics applications inside of the SAP Analytics Cloud, and that is the basis for doing predictions and actually doing planning as well. So there are complex prediction calculations possible, and you do have and can use very complex planning algorithms as well. The differentiation to, for example, eSPP is that SAP Analytics Cloud is not covering all the planning processes that Guada just explained, from forecasting to net demand calculations and inventory balancing planning processes. It is strongly related to financial aspects of the planning, which is actually not available in eSPP. So we are not dealing with values, we are dealing with pieces and demand entries and quantities. So that is a very important aspect that where SAP Analytics Cloud can really be largely beneficial to all the other planning activities. Dealing with these 4 main functions, we have some features inside. They're more self-explaining. It is still a self-service reporting tool, so you can do it on your own. You don't need any consultancy in order to do that. It is really meant as a self-service, at least the analytics and dashboarding part of it. When it comes to predictions and sophisticated planning algorithms, then it's not really self-service anymore. It has smart insights, so you can really examine what's behind the data points. So what are the main drivers for certain data points? Visibility and transparency, of course, is increasing. You can incorporate geomaps, an OLAP analysis, so online analytical processing is part of the SAP Analytics Cloud. And the handling is much more easy than usually the SAP GUI is. So it runs on different screens. You can enable that for mobiles, for large screens. You can define your own user interface, can be looking, or it can look different for each user. Easy to use, you don't need programming skills. And on the planning and prediction side, you have a version-based planning, so you can simulate, you can save different versions, you can enhance and manage the master data within the cloud, and you can even collaborate in the planning area, so which is very good, so you can share stories and so on. This is increasing the visibility, productivity, and efficiency. So that are the real customer benefits of the SAP Analytics Cloud. And what does it really mean? This increasing visibility, for example, that you do have an fast analysis of your critical business situations. You can have a real-time connection and you see immediately what's going on. You can have a 36-degree view, so you have one topic and you can look at it from all different angles. Just an example, the eSPP system was proposing an intermittent forecasting model. So you accepted all that, you do the planning with it, but you would like to know why the system was choosing it. And you can really easy visualize what is the demand pattern, when is the demand popping up, what is the demand quantity, which customer relies behind these intermittent models. So and based on all that different views, you can probably that will result in a different action, so you can smooth the demand, that it's better predictable. So you can really look on all different angles to the same topic, which is an advantage. And you have one single source of truth. So if you combine all data real time from all different modules, of course, if you look at SAP Analytics Cloud, you see what's going on. Second screen is, or more details on the productivity side, is that you can really do fast decisions. You have real-time information. You don't need to wait for data extract or something like that. You have your KPIs right away. And you can even, using the self-service, combine different KPIs that you're really being very productive with your business decisions. And you can as well, as I said, collaborate on the different KPIs. You can ask your colleagues, hey, that is what I got. What do you think about that decision we are going to take? Any more? No, that's actually fine. And if we talk about the efficiency, you can really easily judge your data quality. An example that I did see was bringing the data from forecasting data from eSPP into the game, and on the same screen, the sales department has some predictions as well, and then you can compare that and, for example, search for if there is a great discrepancy. You can easily search what is the reason for it. Sales department is more optimistic than the real data tell you, or the data are not really in a proper way, that you need to adjust the data. And you can do that. You have a central data distribution management from SAP Analytics Cloud as well. So just some general functions and general features. What usually can be used within SAP Analytics Cloud? It's much more than visualizing the data and analyzing the data, but that is a special part that we are using when we hook the eSPP system to the SAP Analytics Cloud. So how does it integrate with eSPP? Or not with eSPP, more or less with all data. So or with all data sources, I need to say. What options do we have? So we have multiple options. So we have the data import connection. that is usually a static connection, or it's always a static connection. You can either connect third-party systems, you can hook up your own on-premise SAP systems, and you can upload local files as well. Important to understand when you're coming from that end that the data are really stored in the cloud. So the data are really stored in the cloud. They need to be extracted statically and stored in the cloud. The right-hand side is giving you the option of a live data connection. So in this case, the data are not stored in the cloud. They are remaining on the source system, and you need to have a certain connector that is really holding the data. CDS views or some other tables that are available need to be created here. And these connectors are holding the data, and the cloud is pulling the data and refreshing the data, the real data that are in your live system. And then, of course, at the third option, we can connect any cloud data source or any cloud application to the SAP Analytics Cloud as well. So, and there are a lot of, from my point of view, tools on the market that offer comparable functionalities, but the goal or the big advantage is an easy integration of all kinds of systems. So it's really easy and very well presentable in the dashboarding and in the stories. And what does it mean exactly for our eSPP system? We can have all three different kinds of connections are available. So we can extract data and store the data in the cloud, or we can have a live data connection where we store the data here, or leave the data here and have a connector. And actually both we show in our demo. And you could run, of course, eSPP in a private cloud and then bring the data into the SAP Analytics Cloud as well, which can be run on public or private as you wish. So whatever floats your boat, all three options are available for the hooking up the eSPP to the SAP Analytics Cloud. In order to understand the demo a little bit better, I have a last slide before we jump into the system that explains a little bit more in detail what's inside the SAP Analytics Cloud. So we are talking about data sets and models. So data set usually is a simple data collection of data. It's either a table or multiple tables that you import via a file into the cloud. And that is easy for easy stories, easy to create, easy to visualize. And this easy way of doing a story and presenting it is the model that complements a data set. So that is more complex one. So you usually have a large amount of business data, not single tables. So complex data, thousands of data sets, and you need to create a model with different dimensions and measures that you can combine and look at it from all different dimensions. And that is usually hooked to the system via real life connections, and you need a cloud agent, cloud connector, or a live data gateway if you are connecting cloud systems with each other. In the middle of the whole story of the SAP Analytics Cloud is a story. And the story is more or less a presentation style document. We will see it in a minute, so that can hold different charts, different visualizations, different text, images, pictograms. So you can actually insert almost everything that supports your story. And we are not seeing today the digital boardroom where you can combine different stories of different modules into a presentation into I would say a management presentation where all the different stories can come together. And analytics application up here, that is the complex algorithms for planning and predictions that we are not seeing in our demos, and therefore it's not really worth to spend too much time on that. As I said, it's not in SAP Analytics Cloud webinar, it's still an eSPP webinar. And that brings me to my next slide. What are we seeing in the system? We will see what standard templates are delivered from SAP, what customer stories you can build, and even cross-functional stories. The last part will be more or less on a slide. It's not in the demo. I can only show you a demo that is not especially prepared for this webinar, but the other one are specialized or especially created for this webinar. So saying that, I need to exit the presentation in order to jump to the system. If you have questions to the presentation, please use the chat, or we will save that one for the last agenda point. And now we are jumping to the system. Here it comes. Okay. So that is our SAP Analytics Cloud, and it was important to share the knowledge what's inside, because what I just explained on the slide deck is visible here as well. So we have these stories, we have this analytics applications, we have the digital boardroom data sets, and the modeler with the data models inside. So you have different tabs, and you can personalize as you wish. As I said before, really customizable user interface. So I saved most of the stories in my favorites, and I'd like to start with the two delivered templates. So there are two templates that are delivered by SAP, one for the demand history and one for the forecast. I did talk to the product owner yesterday, and there are much more templates on the roadmap. So as we go along with enhancing and developing eSPP, there will more templates become, or will more templates as an example come. So I open these two templates for you. Okay, I need to connect, of course. That indicates that we really have a real data connection. So we are accessing our system in real time. And before we look at that, I will do the same here. That's actually, let's cancel that. And I will go back to the second story here that is available as a template. As this is the first tab and this is the second tab. I will open that as well. And going to the first template that were delivered by SAP. And when we created that, we noticed, okay, we of course need to change the data connection. And when we redirected that to our system, we noticed, okay, this template is based on a data model that is getting the data from different tables than we have that in our system. So therefore, nothing was visible when we implemented that template at the beginning. So we need to copy the model and need to redirect the data to what we have in our system. And the second model, however, had the right data sources in the model that we filled in our system as well. And we do have data. And we do have all, out of the box our products and our locations. If you were taking part in the first webinars, 3 webinars, you remember these products and these locations are the locations that we are using for our eSPP system. However, the data have some wrong aggregation in the template, so we needed to rearrange that model as well. But one after the other, I start with the historical demand, and instead of using these as a data model itself, we just simply used that as a template, and we incorporated our own data model into that template. And by doing that, I of course need to open our adjusted, that is this story here. And after rearranging or changing the data model to data that where our data lie, we all of a sudden see exactly what the template had. So, but we have the same templates, but this time by changing the model, we have the data from our real life system. So, and that example here is showing the demand quantity per entry per quarter in the past. For all the materials and for all the locations that we are having, we can filter on the materials. So if we do not want to see all materials, we just simply go here and choose one material, and all the screens are changing. And all that is based on real data that we are having in the system. So going back to all again, so the first 2 graphs are just simply a different kind of presentation to give you an idea that there are different options. So going to the April last month, we have 149,000 pieces in demand. And we see that in April. Oh, well, that is not, that's March, right? And if we go to March, it's looking a little bit different. However, it's the same numbers, but with a little different presentation. Down here, we do see the demand per stocking location and per facing location. So these values might be different as well, because not every location is a stock holding location. So if you followed the first webinars, you understand, or you already know the difference between the facing and the stock holding location. That shows you exactly the difference in the historical demand per location type. And one thing that we do not have at all, you can see the demand in eSPP, because there is no view on customer level. The planning level is always on product location level, but here we have the chance to bring the customer into the picture and see how much demand were created by which customer. And as well, we can see the demand group by product group and calendar months. So in our example, we have much more slow mover than fast mover. We have only 2 product categories available. And that can be visualized by a heat matrix. So higher demand is going to a higher color, so from green to red, but that can be all customized. And as you can see here, there is a second screen on the delivered template by SAP that shows now different values. We have the final demand, the historical ones. We have the scale demand. Scaling factor in our example is 0, therefore the numbers are the same. And we have the historical demand complete for all parts. Different demand per product group. So we see exactly that we have much more slow movers. 88% of the demand were done by slow movers, and 11% by fast movers only. What else is visible? So demand quantity per month in the actual year. So January, February, and March, you can see here. And we do see the demand quantities per stock holding location. Well, the system just kicked me out on the other GUI. That is a nice thing to have. And here as well, if we change the selection, you immediately see that all graphs are scratched new, that we now see only the demand for that material in all locations. We can even filter on special locations only. So if we go only for Frankfurt, it will look different as well. So all that is real-time data that is available to your use and to steer and control real-time what's going on in the system. Of course, looking into the past is not really helping to steer in the future. Therefore, it is much more, you can learn from it, but it is much more interesting to look into the future. And that is its second template that looks into the future data usually, and that is giving some future comparison of the current year and the past years. And as you can see here, the standard template is not delivering data everywhere, and therefore we changed that template. We took the template, we adjusted the data model, and then we see that all these fields get filled in a proper way. So as a lessons learned, even if the two templates that are delivered from SAP, as an example, you need to do 2 steps. You need to change the data connection, of course, because the template cannot be connected to your system already. And you need to change the data model that is behind according to your needs. So, and by doing that, it really comes up with nice and handy graphs. So that is our template now, or our data based on SAP templates. We can have different key figures. At the moment in our template, we have 3 locations. I actually wanted to start with only 1 location. So that is the time series for this year, starting in January, for the forecast of the one product for 1 location, and that is, let's say in April, 566, and then we can incorporate the other locations. Here we have the chance to incorporate virtual childs as well. So that is a demand for location 7. That is a demand for the virtual child, and the location 7 is underneath of SPP 1. So adding this one as well, we see different demands for April. And now I'd like to jump to the system and to make sure that you really have the truth that we are having real-time data connection. I'm going to the SPP system directly. and we'll change some data, and we will see immediately that it is visible in the SAP Analytics Cloud system. So that is the user interface that you've seen in the first 3 webinars. We simply go to the planning system. We are making an interactive forecasting. For those ones that haven't seen the first webinars, there is a normal user interface for forecasting. And as you can see here, our locations are sorted like this in the bill of distribution. And the first check is that we exactly see this number in the cloud system as well. And doing that, we see that exactly that number in April for SPP 7. And now we are simply changing the forecasting model. We go to exponential smoothing. We calculate the forecast, and the forecast change was performed. You see the different forecasts in that key figure. And when we save all that, it goes into the final demand forecast. We save it. Yes. Now we have 117 as a forecast, 167 as a forecast, and going back into our system and push the refresh button, that should be now directly reflected into our SAP Analytics Cloud system. Oh, time is running, I need to hurry. And as promised here, you do see the change. I do not want to go to every single screen. Just one nice function that is available on the second screen of this one. That is a comparison of the current year and previous year, and you can see that you have different chances to insert this. For example, is depicting the difference of the monthly average forecast last year and this year, and you can see where you're forecasting less, where you're forecasting more. You can compare the raw demand against the forecast, and you can visualize the forecast for the last periods. Actually, the nice thing I wanted to show you on that one here, because you can really create fancy stuff if you have Berlin and Munich selected per month, and you would like to drill down on the Berlin January demand. You see on the right side that this one, well, it's not, it is changing if I bring Hamburg into the game. Well, actually, no, we can't, because I have the wrong product. No, I need to choose the right product. I wanted to show you actually the linked analysis. So if you push a button here, you see a different picture here. But due to the time constraints, I'm not searching for the right picture. So this was this stuff that is delivered by SAP standard. And now we're having a customer story created for you in the system, where we visualize the safety stock per parts location, or on each level of the location, or on the whole bill of distribution, for a single part and for all parts together. As you remember from the first webinars, we do not have any chance to see that in the SPP system, eSPP system itself. So what we do see the safety stock on, no, that was the wrong. So we do see the safety stock on each part location level, as we can see it here. So for each part, for each location, we see the safety stock, right? This one is 94. We have a different one, or we don't have one here. We have different safety stock levels here. So, but we do not have the chance in the system to see that on an aggregated level. And that is what we simply implemented here. So if I go to my home button and to my favorites again, that is a story that is called safety stock within the network. And now what we did here, we pulled in all the safety stock values for the next for this year actually, and we incorporated the quantities you're seeing here and the safety stock value, so the values in euro for the safety stock that we are having here. And now you can of course select all parts in all locations, and you immediately see your full value of the safety stock that you're having. You can drill down to a certain level. So let's say I'd like to see it only on the customer facing location, which is level 3. So you can see, oh, my safety stock in June will be for all parts 1,000. The value is 2,700 of that. You can see that on the entry location if you want to as well. So that should be probably much higher then. So you have more safety stock on your entry location. You can filter by product as well. So if you want to see that only for one part, that is actually visible in the eSPP as well. So it's getting more interesting when you see the safety stock and especially the value of it for each location, and you can drill down whatever you want here. And that is really beneficial because you then can really see, you have the visibility at all levels of the bill of distribution. You can add your inventory capital to reporting. You can optimize it further. Very often I see, well, from the management requirement, we need to lower our inventory levels by 10% or by 500,000, whatever. And the second part of this story wanted to bring together the safety stock and the projected stock in pieces. And what we did in the system is we did bring the projected stock into the system that is visible on the second part, and that can be negative. Then you have a shortage, and then it grows. And that is based on a different time frame. So that is based on a daily base, and for all parts the same filter criteria apply. And when you now compare the safety stock against the stock on hand in the next months, you see how good your planning really is. So the safety stock usually should drop, or the stock on hand should go close to your safety stock, and then the next order cycle starts. And then of course it's far away because you order, you have safety stock, and then the customer is ordering, and your safety stock getting close to your the stock on hand is getting close to your safety stock, and then you start ordering again. That still needs to be done in our story, that we need to picture the safety stock in order to gain the benefits of it, that you really have the increased visibility of your safety stock planning. You see the shortage is quite good. That would be the next step. Sorry for not showing that already. And as a cross-functional story, we have something of the EWM in mind, where we see a real-time warehouse space versus expected parts inbound and outbound from DRP. What I can show you the last 2 minutes actually in the system is a real nice example for, that was not the right one, for EWM that is not already, it's not in here in my favorites yet. That is strange. Give me a minute to see that, to find that. I need to find that first. That is available for public. Different area is the EWM area. And we have this EWM inside. Official release. So that is something that is not based on a data set only. That is really a nice one, and that is of course not done in 5 minutes, and not especially for our webinar, but that really covers the EWM or the warehouse processes. You have different folders or sites where you have the capacity, the incoming goods, the processing times. You can see the capacity of the warehouse. In this example is not covering the DRP information yet. So the capacity shows only the up-to-date capacity and not taking the DRP planning aspects into consideration yet. So you can jump and go back and forth. You can filter, you have drop downs. So that has more analytics capabilities inside already. So that brings me back to the presentation and actually to the last slide of that webinar and to the question and answer section. That is the last one. There might be some more, but not planned yet. There are new Fiori applications for eSPP. There's no new functions coming in the new releases, repair or buy, leading indicator forecast, or if you have some proposals for a webinar that you are interested in, please feel free to drop us an email to send us informations. And then we will build a new webinar that gives you some more insights of eSPP. Of course, if you have requirements on SAP Analytics Cloud, there are other webinars available already, but not in conjunction or connection with eSPP. All right, let's check if there are questions. So May and Guada and Günther, if you can step in again. I don't see the questions actually. I personally think that we will have another webinar on the new functions. So not in the frequent that we are having right now, but once a year following the eSPP release cycle is once a year to update you with the most and newest functions that we have on eSPP, that you can stay updated, and maybe one or the other function is then triggering you to really go for an eSPP planning in your after sales area. Thanks a lot from my side, and the last words go to Guada. Thanks a lot for SAP accompanying that webinar series.
Yeah, thank you so much, Frank. That was a really, really great informative session. Really love it. I love the eSPP integration with SAP Analytics Cloud. That's a great value addition to the new solution. And in addition to the other topics you mentioned, we also have a new release for the DSC edition. So we'll probably have a conversation about that, a more detailed version of the DSC edition. We'll have more conversation about that, another session about that later on this year. But thank you everyone for your participation. And if you have, like Frank mentioned, if you have any questions or comments or suggestions, just let us know. And thank you to May, and also thank you to Gunther for your support. Thanks, Frank.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Thank
Stay
you.
healthy.
Thank
Take
everyone.
care.